Hey guys, I am Katie from It's a Creek Farm. Welcome back to our channel. I thought I would give you a quick pumpkin patch update, fall flower update on everything that we're doing. Maybe do a quick garden update if I have time. I'm not quite sure how much time this will take. You can see I'm standing right here in front of our, it's supposed to be a hay wagon, but we use it for mums and pumpkins when we are selling them. And we have all these beautiful arrangements made, and we are thick into doing tons of transplants right now and getting things potted up into these arrangement baskets so that we can put them out to sell. All right, so you can see we have all of these guys here, and then those are all mums. They're just starting to show some color on some of them. And then our sunflowers here along the fence are doing great. We were really late in planting these, and so we are just now getting some sunflowers. They're all facing the fence though, so I don't know why. That one's gorgeous. And then you can see our echinacea. And then here's the mums that we transplanted from last year. And then those are our melons, those are pumpkins. I'll go in and show you those in a minute. Those are all the vines, so those are gourds and tiny ones. So let me take you in the high tunnel and show you all of the craziness going on in here. I feel like just when we get this all cleaned up, we make it into a great big mess again. But let me show you what we have going on. So we have all of the plants spread out. Over there, those are grasses and corn or millet. Those are the cabbages, those are zinnias. These are mums, 6-inch mums that are turning. These are all separated by color, so they're easy to put in planters. There's, I don't remember what those are called. They're like little tiny petunias spreading. We've got 2 different colors of those. Celosia, we have those 3, and then we've got big ones over there. And then those are rudbeckias in the back. You can see here we're just putting them together in the pots. We have 2 different sizes, a 10-inch and then a 12-inch. So today is going to be a really big push to get these guys out and get them finished, because then we'll have a week or so before we really start doing a lot of sales, so that they can really get a lot more full and everything. Let me take you out and show you the pumpkins, because that is what people have been asking for. So spaghetti squash are all here along the high tunnel. They are doing great. Looks like I have some ready to pick, but I have tons in there. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. Those are not ready, but we just have lots everywhere. And then I'm gonna step over this mound of grass. We never did put ground cover on that section. And bring you into the pumpkin patch, and let me show you the good and the bad. Alright, so you can see here the vines, some of them are kind of starting to die back. It could just be because of the age. We could also have a virus or something, bacteria in here. But you can see we have tons of pumpkins, and this is the area where these were going to be lots of vines, and so I just randomly put in vines. I tried to be organized about it when we originally planted, but when some plants died, we went and we put extras in. So that kind of messed up my organization system, but that's okay. And I did try to alternate between powdery mildew resistant plants and non-powdery mildew resistant plants, just to see if that would kind of keep it at bay, and I'm thinking it probably did. Right here, this plant is starting to get it. But we are at the end of the season pretty much, so I'm just going to let it be and let it do its thing. There are some vines in here that do not look as healthy as I wanted them to. And I don't know if it's lack of nutrients or if it's just how the vine was. Like that one probably should have been a plant that I trellised, or maybe the seeds were packaged wrong or something like that. So I'm seeing they all seem to be from the same type of pumpkin. So I'm wondering if I put the wrong ones in the wrong spot. Very well could be. What I'm seeing is those guys there, and you can see the little tiny green guy there. It looks like a little squash. not very big. So I'm not quite sure. Now you can see I've got some branches in here. We had a storm blow through the other day, and it knocked some pine branches in here. But these guys are looking gorgeous. We have all sorts of pumpkins in here. I'm really happy. A few weeks ago I came through and I carved some pumpkins here. They are not as raised as I'd like them to be, but they're looking good. This is a mellow yellow. That one is starting to get that nice pretty yellow color. So when I look out here, I am just seeing tons of pumpkins. And so I'm really happy with what we have. We are behind, but that's okay. There's nothing I can do about the weather. Look how pretty those are. We do have the bunting up, and then we have 2 strands of electric fence just a few feet away. That will keep the deer out because they will not like the double layer. They won't like the electric, obviously, and they won't like the flapping of the bunting there. I would love to tell you guys the varieties that I have in here, but I'd have to actually look at the plant little tag, because we planted 58 varieties, I think. And so I have no clue what is what, because there are so many new ones this year. So I am kind of grateful that this area is not super dense, so that we will be able to trace the vine back and find out what is what. These guys here look like 1-2-manys, because you can see that red veining there. This one will be the same. It's still yellow, but you can see the veining on it. And then if I go over here, I know that I did the cushaws on the way far end, and I have some massive cushaws here. Look at how big those are. As we go back, it gets more and more dense, and we have some really cool ones here. These guys are looking close too. That's good. And that is what they're supposed to look like. I remember that much. Oh, look at that one over there. That's huge. So there's my hand for reference. That is massive. Look at that cute little guy next to it. And I'm not quite sure how well we can see in there, but I see lots of white pumpkins way back there, and lots of cream ones. Those look awesome. Oh, I see a giant one right there. Now these guys look to be like fairy tale pumpkins. We have lots spread through there. That one has like warts or something on it. So that one's pretty cool. And there's a mellow yellow. Now I'm having my uncle grow most of our carvers this year, because I wanted to focus on the more specialty, unique pumpkins. And so we don't have a ton of carvers, but, or at least we don't here. He has a lot. He has a lot. And so the ones that I did plant, I planted because I knew that they would be good. They would be good early ones where I can work around my schedule to go down and pick at his house. So these ones I wanted so that I could have a convenient amount to put out before I have time to go down and pick at his house. And they are starting to turn, so that is exciting. Let me show you these couple that are right here, and they are massive. I believe these are called Early Giant, because I believe that was the only vining carver that I got. This guy, I'm thinking, is about 30 pounds, maybe a little bit more. And then here's another one that's starting to turn. I wonder what this dude is. Interesting. I don't know what one that is. That one looks like one that could potentially be trellised next year. But then look at this guy. This guy looks like he is probably, oh, I'm just guessing 45, maybe 50 pounds. There's my hand. I don't know if I can get it all in one picture. There's a beautiful pumpkin right there. Another one of those. And then I see some yellow and white cruchas. Oh, there's another early giant. Oh, what are these called? I had these last year. That almost looks like a Turk's turban, but it isn't. I don't remember what it's called. There's a yellow and white crucha. Man, that's pretty. I like that. That's awesome. Our school colors are black and gold. I have a feeling that will sell for a classroom or a teacher. Now we're getting back to where it's thick. Now I have been trying to stay out of the pumpkin patch as much as possible because it was stressing me out because we are so far behind. I'm really happy though with how things are looking. So it's a very pleasant surprise to be back here. With everything being on ground cover, with us having a good majority of the weeds out of here, with us strategically planting vines versus bush, all of that kind of stuff, with the electric fence up and the bunting, we are doing, the only thing we really need to worry about would be like mice, squirrels, that kind of stuff, which we haven't really seen, and also disease, bacteria, fungus, that kind of stuff. So things are looking really good. I'm really happy, and I am thrilled at how this is looking. I'll show you a few more here. This is our biggest early giant that I've seen so far, and I'm guessing that that one is going to be well over 50 pounds. It is at least 2 feet tall, so that's beautiful. Oh, and then there's one that's starting to turn. We did have some hail, so I'm wondering if that's why it's kind of spotted there. Looks like it had hail there, and those are kind of the first spots to ripen. I'm guessing that one's probably about 25 pounds. Look at that. That's going to be a Cinderella pumpkin. Oh, I bet this is a peanuts pumpkin. It'll be pink and then have like warts on it that look like peanuts. We have one over here. Not quite ripe yet, but that looks pretty cool. Then you can see all the fairy tale pumpkins in there. They are looking great. The area behind the high tunnel is too thick. I'm not going to walk through it. I don't want to damage any vines or anything like that. So I will walk around the front and take you and show you what we have going up there. And that is very thick too, but I can at least get to most of the edges on that one. This guy here is really cool. I think it's a black Fiji. I shouldn't even say that. I will look through my records and see what it looks like. That's going to be really dark, multicolored. Look really, really cool. So that even just now looks awesome. But you can see there on the tendril, it still has plenty of growing and ripening left to do. Okay, so here in the front, I have not been able to keep up with pruning and trellising these guys. So it is kind of a chaotic mess, but it looks really cool in there. There are tons of gourds and pumpkins in here. So you can see there, that's a that is a Turk's turban, and I wonder if down here. See all those? They're looking awesome. Next year for trellising, I definitely need to have bigger trellises. I think what I need to do is I need to take cattle panels and T-posts. We did not have time to do that this year, so it was like use what we have on hand because we don't have time to be able to run into town, borrow somebody's truck and trailer to get the cattle panels, but next year I'm definitely going to have cattle panels so that they're arched out further apart. I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about, because our melons are doing wonderful on the cattle panel type trellis. But let me show you this massive gourd here. This looks really cool. So that board that it's on is about 3 inches wide. That is massive. Looks so cool though. And there are tons of those in there, in that mess. I pruned, the last time I pruned up to here. So you can see that's why it's a little bit thinner and everything. But like these vines weren't to way out here, they were up there. So that's how much they've grown in a short while. Now here you can see we have lots of, that is a polar bear. We have lots of those in there. Lots of Turk's turban. So we will have a good number of a good variety of gourds and pumpkins this year. I'm really happy with that. This is wonderful, because we would have never been able to have enough room to put these guys on the ground. So that is just, I'm thrilled that we've been able to get this much growth and this much production out of these 3 small trellises here. So here we are in the bush pumpkins. Now these guys are pie pumpkins and they are looking awesome, and they are just starting to turn. We have quite a few on each plant, and we have a whole row of plants. They go all the way down to that T-post down there. These are Jack B. Little or Jill B. Little, one of those, I think. Lots and lots there. Blaze are doing great. Got those guys, those are looking awesome. Here is a wordy one that I carved into. This one's looking cool. I have no clue what these are, but that looks really cool. This is fall on it with some leaves. It is not even close to ripe yet. I have no clue what color it's going to be. I don't remember what that one is. And we have lots of mashed potato squash again this year, so those are looking awesome. I think that's mashed potato squash. That is, this whole row is here. That one looks cool. Now the problem with little tags is that you can't really see what they are till you go to pick the pumpkins, because you have to move the vine. Because lots of times the vine grows over the tag. For me, it's a lot easier to look when I'm back editing at my spreadsheet and see what I planted where, in what area, that kind of stuff. So then I can just tell you guys what they are, instead of trying to remember all of the different varieties that we have out here. This is a mashed potato. You can see them all in there. They're doing awesome. I've got a whole bunch of Casperita up there, a whole bunch of Blaze up there, pie pumpkins. Here are some smaller carvers. I don't remember specifically what ones these are, but they will be probably 20-ish pounds. Beautiful size, bigger than a basketball. I carved on a couple of them. This one says Grateful with like a bunting. That one looks pretty cool. This one says Autumn Blessings. And then you can see all the Casperita and all the Blaze. These guys are a type of squash, I think. I think it's like similar to a carnival or a festival. I don't quite remember what they're called though. I'll put it here on the page. But man, those look really cool and really bright. See, I have multiple plants of them. Oh, let me show you this ribbon vining plant that I had. You can see it's goofy leaves and everything, but look at, I was told they wouldn't produce fruit, but look at how many there are on there. They're like hundreds. They seem to be, probably because it's so thick, they seem to be dying. But some of them aren't. Some of them are doing good. You can see they're moldy and mushy. But I was thinking this guy wouldn't produce anything, and it seems to be. At least that branch of it is. On both branches, because that's the other one. So pick these off so that it doesn't spoil the whole thing. See a carver in there. Right, now we're way in the back by the bush carvers. I will put the name here on the page of the two main types that we got. I don't remember specifically what they're called. I have them separated, so I'll have to look on my notes and see what is down here and what is up there. But I am really impressed with these. These are going to be my new go-tos. These guys are huge. There's a lot per plant. There's probably 3 to 5 pumpkins per plant. And they only take up 12 square feet. Maybe 20 square feet on the big ones. And they look wonderful. So let me show you these guys. Pumpkin here is for a friend who wanted their name on one. So that's starting to turn. It looks great. Here's one. Look at that giant one. This is more round than our early giants. The early giants are oblong, but this has that oak beat by a lot. I bet you this is going to be, right now, it's probably 60 pounds. It's round like a basketball. Kind of the perfect pumpkin. But it goes almost up to my knee. It's just absolutely crazy. And that is not the only pumpkin on that plant. We have a little one there. And then there's one right here too. And I'm guessing there's some more in here. So I tried to keep the carvers separate so that we could tell which variety we liked better. So you'll see here I have Casperitas. There's like a row of Casperitas, and then there's a row of pie pumpkins here. Because we have had lots of people ask for pie pumpkins. So we planted more this year. And those are looking awesome. They're turning already. So that is wonderful. And then up a little further, we started planting carvers again on the bush variety. And I'm not quite sure. I don't want to ruin any vines. That little guy is cute. I don't know. That's got to be from way up there. It's got to be from way up there. But that guy is probably about 20-25 pounds there. And they were all looking really good. Really happy with that variety as well. These ones seem to be a little bit more oblong than the other ones. A little bit smaller even maybe. Go to pick, I will try to keep the varieties separate so that I can see physically with my eyes with the difference between the two varieties. But I might just end up ordering both. It feels like the ones up by the mums, these go all the way to over there and then up to the edge there. Feels like these ones, the plants are bushier, but really that doesn't mean much when you're until you get in and see how many pumpkins and stuff, because that's the biggest issue for me, is how many pumpkins we actually get off of each plant. How big the plants are does make a difference, but if we get 6 off of a bigger plant and let's say 3 off of the smaller plant, then we might be able to do more of those or less of these, not quite sure. So it's something that I want to actually, when I'm picking, keep track, pick and compare sizes and all of that kind of stuff, so that I know for next year when I'm planting what works and what doesn't. I do have quite a few ideas for next year already, and I really like having the big vines back there because then they have more room to spread out. And then the bush here, I love the trellising, so I'm really happy with that. I'm just going to tweak it a little more for next year, and that should really just every year, if I can just keep improving so that and be more efficient with the land that we have, then that way when we go to expand our fields, I mean, which we do every year, but then that way we can get the best amount off of the least amount of space and make it efficient so that we don't need to have something so overwhelming because it's just me doing this. So Owen and the kids help when they can, obviously, but for the most part, everybody is working, everybody has sports, jobs, school, all of that. So it really boils down to I am the one here and I'm the one who has to make sure that this gets done. Back behind the high tunnel, that's where it's so thick I can't get through. We have some other stackers and some other specialty back in there. I'm going to talk and walk through here at the same time. Look at our big old compost pile. That looks awesome. So the thing that has allowed me to really experiment on varieties and that kind of stuff this year is the fact that my uncle was willing to grow pumpkins for me. It was a win-win for both of us, and he is an amazing gardener, and so he grew some for us last year, and I think maybe a few the year before. Every year, yeah, he grew a few 2 years ago. Then last year he increased, and we had quite a few from him, and this year he increased even more. And so that has allowed me to experiment with different varieties, different colors, the specialty ones, see what we like so that we can have a good baseline over the next few years of going into this. All right, so we are back at my melon arch here. These are all cantaloupe that are on here. There's a couple model melons, which I think are a type of honeydew, I think. Anyways, this one is the one I showed you earlier. I cut too short, and then the one behind it's the one I cut too tall. But these are looking awesome on this trellis, and I can come in here and pick very easily. The fruit is all hanging down for the most part. So this is what I want to do next year for those trellises, and it's so much sturdier because those pumpkins start weighing a lot. So next year I want to make sure that we make that improvement, and instead of doing the quickest, easiest, cheapest, I want to improve the trellising by a lot so that we can be more efficient with those. Here I got strawberry plants from a co-worker of Lily's, and they're all the shoots. So I got those transplanted. Beck and I did that. Got a rugosa rose there, a rugosa rose there. You can see the melons I haven't pruned in a long time, so they're just kind of taking over. The onions are almost ready to harvest. The melons are all taking over. You can see asparagus, the tomato plants that kind of went crazy. And then here's all of our sunflowers. They're looking good. And somewhere in here we have strawberry plants also transplanted. These were the extras, so I figured they probably won't take. You can see there's one there, and there's one there. That one might take, but it wouldn't hurt transplanting them. This is kind of the only space that we have for something like that, because next year I'm going to have all the flowers on the other side of the fence. This fall I'm going to dig up the bulbs that are over on this side and get them all transplanted to over there, and then I'm going to plant more perennials over on this side of the fence this fall and next spring. And then that way I'm going to do, if the strawberries take strawberries, I have 3, maybe 4 rose bushes here, and then we'll fill in with sunflowers probably next year. I'm really loving these guys. Look how big that is. And then you can see down the row, there's the shorter of the sunflowers, and then all the way down to our greenhouse. We'll go back in the high tunnel and I will show you the garden area. We're kind of winding things down in here for vegetables just because I can't keep up with everything. I haven't pruned in a while. I haven't trellised in a while. It's kind of a jungle back here. We are picking what we need for dinner and what people message us with what they want, and pretty much that's what we have time for. So cucumbers are massive. I need to pick, I'll only pick some tonight yet. So you can see here, a lot of them go up to the ceiling. or to the purlin. It's not a purlin, a rafter, truss, whatever it's called. Lots of cucumbers in there. It's been a while since I've pruned zucchini, so I can't really see what I have in here. Little one there. Oh, there's another cucumber, a big one down there. We got some zucchini here. These guys are Italian white zucchinis, and we have been loving these for cooking with fresh. Now I am starting to get some powdery mildew in here, but considering it is now the middle of August and this is the first time getting powdery mildew anywhere. One there. I know Sid came down and picked some for supper. And you can see they are getting very thick, and I usually don't let my zucchini get this thick, but they have definitely reached the top of the cages here. And then beans, she came and picked a whole bunch of beans. She said she picked a third, but she only picked a third of this row. So you can see she started over there. She didn't realize that we have a whole nother row back there. Tomatoes are doing good. We did have a problem. I think that they have some sort of virus because I think they're too tight. So I pulled out all of the borage. You can see the empty holes. And I left the basil because we like basil. We don't eat the borage. So, and then I pruned the ones. You can see that one still has a lot of leaf curl and disease on it. I think it is a fungus or whatever. I don't have a clue. I think it's from lack of airflow. So they really have bounced back. In fact, this guy here didn't have any tomatoes on it. This guy here didn't have any tomatoes on it. And they are ready. Look at that. These are my favorite. And then the peppers. These guys, Jigsaw, are doing great. The bell peppers are not doing great. I want to take the time sometime in the next few days and dig those up and put them in pots. See if that helps improve. And maybe bring those in for the winter. And then we have the melon here. Earlier I had said in a video that one of these had cracked and I ate it. That's actually a yellow watermelon. And then we've got some cantaloupe. I had one each plant in here, and then there's a model. And they are doing great. They're spreading everywhere because I have not been able to prune them or keep them trellised. More beans. Those are all beans. Pulled out most of the peas. I got 3/4 of the way done. And then ran out of time. But then these guys here are all volunteer tomatoes. And then our carrots. And then these are our loofah sponges. You can see the growing the food part has really taken a back seat. I hate that. But my parents have not been able to come out and help as much as they did in previous years. Same for Owen's parents. And so it has been a crazy busy summer. And I feel like we are at the max at what we can do. These flowers took a lot more time and energy, and it just was one more thing added onto the plate. So I need to seriously consider if these are worth it for next year. I loved growing them. I love looking at the beautiful flowers, but I need to make sure that I need to make sure A, it's profitable, and B, it's worth my time to do these. So we definitely need to look into hiring help. But we have some big things coming up that it just wouldn't be wise to do that right now. It'd be wise to hire help so that we have another set of hands around here. But I want to make sure that we are keeping this place as profitable as possible. And so I don't want to risk that and hire somebody and then end up having to lay them off because flowers didn't go over well or something like that. So we're going to just plug through this fall yet, get through pumpkins and mum season, take a breath, and then kind of figure out where we're going, hiring somebody, that kind of stuff. So this is the max on what one person and 4 helpers can do. So we really need to figure out where we're going in the future. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4 more pumpkin patches. They're just small, just with a handful of plants, but we're experimenting with planting some pumpkins in areas where we have had hay bales in the winter. And one is in an area where there were hay bales 2 years ago, one is in an area where there were hay bales last year, that kind of stuff, just to see the growth and what works, what doesn't, so that maybe in the future we can very densely put the cows or sheep or goats in an area for the winter and use that for a pumpkin patch the next year. I want to make sure that we're not taking a risk of it being too hot for our plants. So that is what we're doing there. I don't have time to bring you there. Maybe when I'm picking, I'll bring you there. It is just one of those things on the other side of the farm, and so it would take a while to get there, and I have to work on these flowers. That is it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time.